Have you ever looked around and wondered why some people seem to move through life as if they've discovered a secret passage, an invisible doorway that lets them jump levels while others crawl through the same maze for years? That's the phenomenon most people call a quantum leap. But here's the truth, no one tells you quantum leaps don't happen because of luck, affirmations, or random bursts of motivation. They happen because someone decides to break the rules of gradual progress. They choose to stop living according to the timeline that everyone else believes in. They stop waiting for permission. They make the leap before they feel ready. Most people think success is linear. They picture life as a staircase, step by step, day by day, one small improvement after another. But a quantum leap isn't about steps. It's about teleportation. It's about collapsing time between where you are and where you want to be. You don't climb toward it. You shift into it. The question is how? It begins with one radical decision: stop identifying with your current results. Everything you're experiencing right now is a reflection of your past state of consciousness. It's the echo of who you used to be. The version of you that struggles, hesitates, and doubts is just an outdated signal still playing on repeat. To quantum leap, you have to tune into a new frequency before the evidence appears. You have to think, feel, and act as if the next version of you is already real, even when nothing in your environment confirms it yet. This sounds impossible at first. You might be saying, but I can't pretend to be rich, successful, confident, or peaceful when my reality is showing me the opposite. That's the trap. You've been trained to believe that reality creates your state. In truth, your state creates your reality. Every leap in history, scientific, technological, personal, came from someone who refused to let their current circumstances dictate their inner world. Let's go deeper. Quantum physics tells us that everything is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts aren't just ideas floating around in your brain. They're electromagnetic signals broadcasting to the field of infinite possibilities. When you think a thought repeatedly, when you emotionally charge it, it begins to organize matter around it. The version of you living your dream life already exists as a possibility in that field. The moment you emotionally align with it, you start collapsing that potential into form. That's why you can't force a quantum leap through effort alone. It's not about hustling harder or working longer hours. You can't grind your way into a new reality that vibrates on a different frequency. You have to shift, and that shift happens internally first. The work is energetic before it becomes physical. Imagine you're tuning a radio. If you stay stuck on one frequency, you'll never hear the music that's playing on another. You can shout, you can twist the volume knob, you can bang on the radio. It won't matter. Until you change the frequency, nothing changes. That's exactly how your life works. Most people are trapped in the static of their old vibration, thinking the same thoughts, repeating the same emotions, living the same identity. To leap, you have to retune your signal. So how do you do that? Start with identity, not goals. The question isn't, how do I get there? The real question is, who do I need to become to live there? That's the key most people miss. Your subconscious mind runs 95% of your behavior. You can consciously decide to take new actions, but if your subconscious identity is still rooted in the old version of you, you'll sabotage the leap every time. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine the version of you who has already leapt. What do they believe about themselves? How do they walk, speak, think, and feel? What energy do they carry when they enter a room? You don't wait to achieve those traits. You embody them now. Every time you act, think, and feel like that future version, you send a new signal to the quantum field. That signal starts rewriting your timeline. Here's where the contrast framing comes in. There's the version of you who's still waiting, who's scared, who says, maybe someday. And then there's the version of you who moves like it's already done. One of them is trapped in the old program, the other one lives in the new paradigm. Every moment, you're choosing between the two. The leap happens the moment you stop negotiating with your limitations. Most people delay their leap because they think they need more information, but information doesn't cause transformation, decision does. At some point, you have to burn the old script. You have to say, I'm no longer available for the level I used to live at. You have to start moving as if your future is guaranteed. That movement, that bold decision, is what bends reality around you. It's not magic, it's physics. The energy you project determines the experiences you attract. When you hold a consistent state of certainty, the world begins to rearrange itself to match your belief. Opportunities that seemed random start appearing. People you've never met start showing up. You notice synchronicities everywhere. That's not coincidence, it's coherence. You've tuned yourself into a new pattern of existence. The mistake people make is expecting instant results. Quantum leaps can feel instant in hindsight, but the alignment often takes time. Think of it like a bow being pulled back before release. When you're in the process, it might feel like nothing's happening, like you're stuck. But underneath the surface, energy is building. When you stay in alignment long enough, that stored energy releases, and suddenly your entire life catapults forward. That's when people say, "It happened overnight." But you know it didn't. It happened in the unseen realm long before it appeared in the scene. Here's the paradox: you can't chase a quantum leap. You have to relax into it. The more desperate you are for change, the more resistance you create. You have to act boldly but remain detached from the outcome. You leap not because you're desperate to escape where you are, but because you trust where you're going. And once you experience that first leap, when reality bends in your favor, you'll never see the world the same way again. You'll realize that the rules you thought were fixed are actually flexible. That time isn't a straight line, it's a spiral. And that you were never small or limited to begin with. You were just unaware of your power to shift timelines. So let me ask you, are you ready to stop walking the staircase and start teleporting floors? The next version of you isn't waiting years away. It's existing right now in a different frequency. The leap doesn't happen in the future. It happens the moment you decide. There's a moment in every transformation where you feel suspended between two worlds. The old one that feels familiar but heavy, and the new one that feels exciting but uncertain. That's the threshold. Most people turn back at this point. They interpret discomfort as a sign to stop, when in truth, it's proof that the leap is in motion. You can't bring your old energy into your new reality. The friction you feel isn't failure, it's frequency conflict. The universe is literally rewiring your vibration, pulling you into alignment with the next level. When this happens, the old identity starts dissolving. The habits, emotions, and people that matched your past vibration begin to fall away. It can feel lonely or chaotic because your outer world is catching up to your inner change. That's why patience is so important. You can't microwave transformation. A quantum leap might look instant to the outside world, but internally it's a process of shedding, recalibrating, and allowing your energy to stabilize at a higher state. Think about a rocket breaking through Earth's atmosphere. 90% of its fuel is burned just to escape gravity. The turbulence, the noise, the shaking, all of that happens before the quiet of outer space. Your leap works the same way. The resistance you feel before the breakthrough isn't a sign you're off path, it's confirmation you're accelerating. If you quit then, you never experience the silence of orbit, where things finally move effortlessly. You'll notice that every quantum leaper shares one trait: obsession with alignment, not outcome. They don't ask, when will it happen? They ask, am I aligned with the version of me where it has already happened? That question keeps you in power, because when you're aligned, time bends. You start noticing evidence faster. You act differently. You attract differently. Life begins to reflect your new state almost immediately. But let's get practical. How do you stay in alignment long enough for reality to catch up? It starts with mastering your emotional baseline. Most people think emotions are reactions to what's happening, but they're actually generators of what happens next. When you wake up and feel gratitude before anything good occurs, you're sending a new signal to the field. That emotion becomes a magnetic command that pulls new experiences toward you. You're not reacting, you're programming. This is why daily energetic hygiene matters more than any to-do list. Meditation, journaling, visualization. These aren't just rituals, they're recalibration tools. They clean your frequency so your energy stays coherent. The more coherent your energy, the faster your quantum leaps manifest. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are in sync, you become a walking signal of certainty. The universe responds to certainty like metal responds to a magnet, and yet, certainty doesn't mean control. That's another paradox. You can't micromanage a quantum leap. You can't predict the exact how or when. You can only create the conditions for it to unfold. Think of yourself as a gardener. You plant the seed, your vision, and you nurture the soil, your mindset. You don't dig the seed up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the invisible process. That's how the field works. It rearranges itself quietly, in layers you can't see yet. Here's a truth that'll challenge everything you've been taught. Your future is influencing your present more than your past is. Let that sink in. Traditional thinking says we're products of our history, but energetically, your future self is already pulling you toward it, like gravity. When you visualize vividly enough, When you emotionally connect to that version of you, you activate that gravitational pull. You're no longer pushing yourself forward. You're being drawn forward. That's why visualization isn't daydreaming, it's data transmission. You're sending new instructions to the quantum field, and the field responds through synchronicities, impulses, and ideas that seem to come out of nowhere. Those impulses are invitations from your higher timeline. Most people ignore them because they don't make logical sense. But logic only works within your current level of awareness. To leap, you have to trust inspiration more than evidence. Think about every major turning point in your life. Chances are it started with a whisper, a random idea, a chance encounter, a sudden spark of intuition. That was your higher self tapping you on the shoulder saying, "This way." The more you follow those nudges, the faster you quantum leap, because each nudge leads to a version of you that's closer to the destination. Now let's address the biggest block, fear. Fear is the mind's defense against uncertainty. It's your nervous system trying to keep you in the known, but the known is just your old energy pattern. Every time you choose comfort, you choose repetition. The only way to expand is through the unknown. And here's the secret: fear doesn't mean stop. It means you're entering the frequency of growth. When fear shows up, smile at it. It's proof that you're stepping into new territory. If you reframe fear as a signal of alignment instead of danger, everything changes. You'll stop running from the edge and start dancing on it. That's where every great leap happens, on the edge of uncertainty. The mind screams, "You're not ready," but the leap doesn't require readiness. It requires willingness. Readiness is perfectionism disguised as safety. Willingness is courage disguised as surrender. There's also the illusion of trying. People say, "I'm trying to manifest. I'm trying to change. I'm trying to believe." Trying is hesitation wearing effort's mask. The quantum field doesn't respond to trying. It responds to being. The moment you become the energy of what you want, the game changes. That's why affirmations without embodiment feel empty. You can say, "I am abundant," 1,000 times, but if your body is still broadcasting lack, nothing shifts. The leap happens when your mind, heart, and body all agree on the new frequency. Let's bring it back to your daily life. You can start small. The next time you're about to make a decision, pause and ask, which version of me is choosing right now? The old one or the quantum one? Then pick the option that aligns with the latter, even if it scares you. One small quantum decision a day compounds faster than years of cautious planning. You'll start noticing that what used to take months happens in weeks. People call it luck or timing, but it's just resonance. Remember this: you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. That's the essence of the quantum leap. You don't reach it, you merge with it. Your external world is simply your internal state projected outward. When your internal movie changes, the external screen has no choice but to follow. So when things feel like they're falling apart, don't panic. Often it's not collapse, it's reconfiguration. The old frequency is breaking so the new one can anchor. You might lose friends, jobs, habits, or opportunities that once fit. Let them go with grace. Every exit creates space for a higher entry. By now you should start noticing subtle shifts. You feel lighter, more detached, more trusting. You're no longer chasing outcomes. You're allowing them. You're no longer obsessed with timelines. You're immersed in the frequency of inevitability. That's the moment you realize the leap isn't something you do. It's something you remember how to do. You were born quantum. You just forgot. Here's the part that almost no one talks about. Once you leap, you must stabilize. A quantum leap without grounding can feel like chaos. Suddenly everything shifts. Your relationships, your goals, even your sense of self. The universe rearranges itself to match your new vibration, and that rearranging can look like ending silence or strange detours. People often panic and say, "It's not working anymore." But it is working. The leap worked so well that your life is sculpting itself around your higher identity. You just have to hold the vibration long enough for the new reality to crystallize. Think of it like changing dimensions. You can't take the furniture from your old apartment into the new one if it doesn't fit the architecture. The universe clears out what can't come with you. That's not punishment, it's purification. Every loss, every delay, every unexpected turn is your new timeline calibrating. Your only job during this phase is to stay steady, to keep choosing the new frequency no matter how loud the old world screams. Let's talk about embodiment again, because this is where most people relapse. They take one bold leap, feel the energy shift, and then unconsciously slip back into old habits. Remember, the old version of you has muscle memory. It'll try to reclaim you. That's why consistency matters more than intensity. It's not about a massive one-day transformation. It's about showing up every day as the new identity until it feels automatic. That's when the leap becomes permanent. One of the most powerful tools to stabilize a quantum leap is gratitude. Not just the kind where you list what you're thankful for, but future gratitude. Thank the universe for what hasn't appeared yet. Feel genuine appreciation for the outcomes still unfolding. That emotion locks your frequency into alignment. It tells the field, I already have it. And the field mirrors that truth back to you. Gratitude is the glue that keeps the leap intact. Another stabilizing force is environment. You can't maintain a new vibration in an old energetic ecosystem. Look around your life, the conversations you have, the media you consume, the spaces you inhabit. Are they reflections of your new timeline or your old one? Energy is contagious. Surround yourself with people and environments that reinforce your leap. Sometimes that means solitude for a while, because the world needs time to catch up to your new vibration. Don't fear that quiet season. It's sacred. That's when your internal frequency becomes unshakable. Now, here's a deeper layer most never realize. Quantum leaping isn't about getting things. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs them to feel whole. The irony is that when you reach that state of wholeness, everything you once wanted starts chasing you. You magnetize opportunities because you've stopped grasping. You radiate peace, confidence, and certainty. And those energies are irresistible. That's the ultimate power of the leap. It liberates you from the illusion that fulfillment lives somewhere outside of you. At this level, manifestation stops being a technique and becomes a side effect of alignment. You no longer visualize from lack. You create from overflow. You no longer affirm what you don't believe. You express what's already true within. This is where life starts feeling miraculous, not because magic suddenly appeared, but because you've finally synchronized with the quantum nature of existence. Think of your life as a movie. Most people live as actors reading someone else's script, reacting to scenes they didn't write. But when you quantum leap, you step behind the camera. You realize you're the director, the writer, and the actor all at once. You can rewrite the plot anytime. You can reshoot the scene. You can change the genre. The moment you claim that authorship, the universe becomes your co-writer. Let's bring this down to something tangible. If you truly want a quantum leap, start asking, how long will it take? And start asking, how deeply can I believe? Time bends to belief. Reality bends to certainty. The more solid your inner world becomes, the faster the outer world conforms. Here's an exercise before bed tonight. Close your eyes and imagine your future self living the reality you've been dreaming of. Don't visualize like you're watching a movie. Visualize like you're inside it. Feel the air, the sounds, the texture of that life. Let your nervous system experience it as real, then fall asleep in that frequency. While you sleep, your subconscious will treat it as memory, not imagination. When you wake up, carry that frequency through your day. That's how you start collapsing timelines. You'll notice something strange begin to happen. The gap between thought and manifestation gets shorter. Things that used to take months appear in days. People start calling you lucky, but luck has nothing to do with it. You're just finally aligned with the rhythm of creation. The universe is no longer resisting you because you've stopped resisting yourself. Now, let's talk about purpose, because the quantum leap isn't just personal, it's evolutionary. Every time you expand your consciousness, you expand the field for everyone connected to you. Your leap becomes a frequency upgrade for the collective. That's why playing small serves no one. When you rise, you raise the grid. That's how the world changes, not through force, but through frequency. So if you've been doubting your worthiness, thinking, ooh, am I to dream that big? Remember this, the desire itself is evidence of capability. The universe wouldn't plant a dream in your heart without wiring you with the energy to fulfill it. The very vision you're holding is your future self calling you forward. It's not fantasy, it's instruction. Your only task is to answer the call. And when you do, when you finally commit fully, life starts conspiring in ways that feel surreal. Doors open without knocking. The right people appear out of nowhere. The resources you thought you lacked flow in effortlessly. That's the flow state of the quantum field. It rewards courage with clarity. Every time you act from alignment instead of fear, the path ahead becomes illuminated just enough for the next step. You'll never see the whole staircase, but you'll always see the next stone. This is the true meaning of faith. Not blind belief, but conscious partnership with the unseen. Faith is knowing that what you feel is more real than what you see. It's holding your vibration steady until the visible world catches up. And when it does, you'll smile. Not because you're surprised, but because you expected it all along. Eventually, quantum leaping becomes your natural state. You stop waiting for life to change and start shifting whenever you choose. You stop living from circumstance and start living from consciousness. Every time you sense stagnation, you don't complain, you calibrate. You ask, what version of me am I broadcasting right now? And you upgrade the signal. That's mastery. So let this be your reminder. There is no distance between where you are and where you want to be. Distance is an illusion created by doubt. The moment you dissolve that doubt, the distance collapses. You leap not through space, but through awareness. You don't have to earn your next level. You simply have to remember that it's already yours. The real question isn't whether you can quantum leap. You already have countless times. You've shifted identities, survived breakdowns, and become someone you never thought you could be. You've already proven you can jump timelines. You just forgot how intentional you truly are. Now, it's time to do it consciously. So take a deep breath. Feel the future version of you standing just one frequency away. Smile at them. They're not waiting in some distant reality. They're whispering right now, saying, it's time. Step into that vibration. Move like it's already done. Because the second you decide, the universe reconfigures instantly. The leap doesn't require permission. It only requires belief. And you, right now, are one decision away from a completely different reality.